Typically during chess tournaments, participants can't really get enough of chess. And so the organizers will have an evening where they will organize a blitz tournament, a competition open for everyone, no matter rating nor expertise. This was the case when I played an incredibly strong tournament in Menorca, an island in Spain. And I knew that I would face very strong players in this blitz tournament, especially because everyone was playing for prize money. In the first round of the tournament, I had played against a 10-year-old girl, who even though played very well, I managed to beat. However, in round 2, I was facing Stanley, a 14-year-old who had a FIDE rating of 2200 and was a candidate master. He was very friendly to me before the game, and we had a little bit of a small talk before the seriousness began. After that, round 2 was about to begin.
Okay. Empieza la ronda. Start the game.
We shook hands and I started the clock. He started with d4 and I replied d5. He played knight c3 and I knew that he was going to play the Jobava London, an opening which I don't really enjoy playing against. We played the moves very fast. Now he played a3 with the idea that after I play e5 and attack his bishop, and I capture his pawn on c5, he's going to be able to play b4. Or if I never capture his pawn on c5, he can play b4 anyways and defend that pawn. So a3 is a very tricky move. Now after he played bishop g5, I realized that I didn't really know the theory. I wasn't sure if I should play bishop e6 to defend that d5 pawn or if I should push the d pawn. But the problem here that I have is that my d pawn is hanging as he is pinning my knight on f6 and it's hard for me to defend it. I spent some time thinking here and I could tell that he absolutely knew the theory, but I ended up playing d4 and I now know that I should have brought my bishop out instead. But I pushed my pawn and the idea of this was just to keep that pawn alive, basically. I also wanted to be able to capture back the knight with my queen if he would ever play bishop takes f6. He played knight a4, defending his c5 pawn, and now I was trying to figure out how to win that pawn back. I was looking at moves such as queen a5 check. Then he has the move c3. And I didn't know if that was what I wanted to play. I was also thinking, should I just develop my pieces? He started looking at the sides. It looked like he was a little bit bored almost because he was playing so fast and knew the theory. But I was spending a lot of time here. I ended up playing bishop e6, and I felt very out of place because of the fact that I didn't really know the theory. He instantly played b4, defending his pawn. I now knew that I would not be able to capture that pawn again, and I would forever have to face that pawn on c5. He developed his bishop to d3, pointing towards my king. And I decided to centralize my queen. Queen d5, threatening the bishop and just keeping my queen in a very active square. I'm also threatening the pawn on g2 right now. He simply developed his knight, defending the pawn on g2 and defending his bishop. And now I had to figure out what to do. I only had a minute on the clock. I played bishop g4, pinning the knight, threatening to take the knight and then take his bishop. But I didn't realize that he had a very nasty threat at this very moment. I was so blinded by my own attack that I missed knight b6, threatening my queen and threatening my rook, and this was a fork. I realized that if I moved the queen, I will simply lose my exchange, so I decided to take his knight. But after he took my queen, I realized that that knight on d5 is beautifully placed because he has this move, knight c7. And that is another fork. In this moment, I realized I was in a lot of trouble. Should I take back his bishop? Should I move my bishop? How do I avoid knight c7. That was everything that I was wondering. He had only spent 20 seconds on the clock up till this point, and I only had 20 seconds left. I was starting to get really stressed because I didn't know how to get out of this problem. And so I played bishop h5, keeping my bishop, and he traded the pieces and then went for the fork and won my rook. I was now an exchange down in an endgame, which I knew would be very difficult for me. He was playing very well. He was playing all the good moves. I retreated with my bishop. He pushed his pawn to g3. I was trying somehow to get a good knight up to some square, reroute my knight, but his king was coming in for the attack as well. My d4 pawn was hanging. Could I go knight f6 and then try to go knight g4 and threaten some pawns? At least I knew that I couldn't trade my rooks. If I traded one rook, I knew it would be over. I centralized my knight. I only had 8 seconds on the clock. He played f3, threatening my knight. I didn't know where to go. I played a move with 1 second. I moved the king, check. King goes up to e3. I didn't want to trade rooks, but I had to. But when I did, my time went down and I lost the game. Now, one could say that I lost the game on time, but that is not the truth. The truth is that I lost the game on my position. I was completely lost, and especially out of my opening. The opening, I didn't know enough theory, and he just outplayed me in the opening, and Stanley just played an amazing game, and he was also a very good sport after the game. But I was very sad, obviously, that I had lost this game. I felt like I had gotten completely crushed, but Stanley definitely deserved to win this game, and he played very well. And it's always amazing to see so young people having such a high rating and being on the rise. This is round 2 of this blitz tournament, but the tournament was long and I faced a lot of amazing people, a lot of different people, and I would love to show you more of the games. So let me know in the comments if you want to see more of the games of this tournament, because some of these games were amazing. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.